told Jeannie when I came here that I was going to put this franchise back in a position where it belongs. Her late great father did it for so many years, and she just, took it on after that. And for me to be a part of such a historical franchise is it's an unbelievable feeling, not only for myself, but for my teammates, for the organization, for the coaches, for the trainers, everybody that's here. We just want our respect. Rob wants his respect. Coach Vogel wants his respect. Our organization wants their respect. Laker Nation wants their respect. And I want my damn respect, too.
Hey, Stephen A., this title run started 1 year ago. Is this LeBron's most challenging title?
I would say yes, but it's not because of what transpired on the basketball court. Obviously, it extends far beyond that. When you consider the conditions under which these guys had to deal with, to have the season halted, to take a 4-month hiatus, to come back when guys, even his team in the Los Angeles Clippers, voted not to come back, then to be in the bubble, and then to have the shooting in Kenosha, Wisconsin take place. And prior to that, obviously, Breonna Taylor was on everybody's mind. George Floyd was on everybody's mind. And then you wondered whether or not the season was going to be ongoing. And then they had those meetings, and guys were talking about how, what the hell with it. Essentially, if the season needs to be halted, it needs to be halted. And you had all of that stuff going on to continue to thrive the way that he thrived, to perform the way that he performed, to be as dominant as he was throughout these playoffs. He clearly put the world on notice that the Greek freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo, did not deserve to be the league MVP. He deserved it. He got my vote. I was one of the 16 people that voted for him. Others voted against him. But also he came into the playoffs and took Portland out in 5. Obviously did what he needed to do against Houston, ultimately did what he needed to do against Denver, and then obviously, of course, the Miami Heat in the NBA Finals. He was absolutely sensational. He averaged 29, 11, and 8 in the finals on shooting 59% from the field, 41.7% from three-point range. That's nothing short of sensational. And when you consider all the things that were going on to distract folks from actually playing basketball, but yet and still we saw the high level of competition that we witnessed from these guys going against each other, knowing that if you lost, you get to go home, which most of them said they wanted to do anyway, yet when they got on the court, they didn't play like it. We had some very scintillating basketball over the last 3 months or so. It was high-end competition, and at the end of the day, the king was crowned, and it happened to be LeBron James yet again. You got to tip your cap to him. He's worthy of NBA Finals MVP, and I think that because of all the conditions and everything that came with it, I think a legitimate argument can be made that this was the toughest one.
And you're making it. I co-sign everything you said, but I would not call this his most difficult championship. First of all, if the best player in the world is playing with another, which LeBron is playing with another top 5 MVP caliber player in the history of basketball, that team almost always wins the championship. That's the first thing. That's what LeBron had. And Pelinka deserves a lot of credit. I was highly critical of some of the moves he made in the offseason. They worked out. They found diamonds in the rough. They put the right team together. Secondly, if everyone is playing under the same circumstances, then it's not harder in that sense for anyone, since it's harder for everyone, right? So that balances out. I understand it's more taxing for everyone involved, but it doesn't make it more difficult to win the championship because everyone's dealing with those circumstances. Second thing. Third thing, when LeBron James played the 73-win Warrior team and came back down 3-1, I don't want to hear about Draymond Green got suspended. LeBron kind of instigated that. Good for him. He was smart, stuck out his leg and goaded him, knowing that one more tech would be all it took. Coming back against the 73-win team, which was about to be crowned the greatest basketball team ever, on the road, when defensively you didn't give up a field goal, a point in the last almost 5 minutes of the game to the greatest half-court offense ever. When LeBron iced the game on the free throw line, which he'd been, criticized for. He didn't want to take those last-second free throws. That was the greatest, most difficult championship of LeBron James' amazing career, because he's had several of them that could be in this category. I'll say this. They went 4-1, 4-1, 4-1 against the West, 4-2 against the Eastern Conference opponent. Remember all those seasons we were all saying, man, if LeBron was in the West, it wouldn't be this easy. And look, the Warriors obviously weren't around this year because of all the injuries and some defections, but seemed like Nuggets look pretty good against the Clippers. I mean, they played some pretty good teams, some kind of scrappy teams that against a lesser team, maybe a non-LeBron James-led team, those scrappy teams where they're making those fourth quarter runs, maybe they win some of those games. Maybe that changes the series. But they didn't because LeBron James wouldn't let it. It is among his greatest accomplishments this year. I would not put it at the very top, even considering his age, which gives him extra credit for this. But it's up there, but I would still say the win against the 73-win Warriors down 3-1 at Oracle is still his crowning achievement.
Well, I think it's a matter of opinion, obviously. We have an opinionated show. We get all of that. But I think that a legitimate argument can be made on both ends. My position is, and I've been consistent on this, I thought it was a stimulus package that was handed to LeBron James by the NBA when Draymond Green got suspended for that Game 5. Keep in mind that the Cleveland Cavaliers had lost Game 4 in Cleveland and were down 3-1 as a result and heading back to the Oracle. When they headed back to the Oracle and they had to go without Draymond Green, then the back spasms from Andre Iguodala kicked in that game. Andrew Bogut got hurt that game. And on top of it all, Steph Curry wasn't healthy. So we can look at it at 3-1, and it's an incredible accomplishment, no doubt. But there were some mitigating circumstances that can't be ignored. Then when you combine that with what they had to go through here and how you had such disruption, people not wanting to play, folks arguing with one another, dudes wanting to go home, worried about people violating the bubble, wondering whether or not there was going to be a positive test and all of this other stuff because of the coronavirus pandemic. Again, it's not just about what you do on the court. It's what leads to you getting on the court as well. Those obstacles, those distractions is what I think makes it a bit tougher in my estimation. And that's why I give credit where credit is due. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.